1962. A farmhouse bedroom in the evening. A boy of 7 sits on the edge of the bed and watches his grandfather get ready to sleep. Every night, the old man does the same thing. He reaches into his pockets, one at a time, and sets each thing down on top of the dresser. A worn pocket knife, a heavy pocket watch on a chain, a folded handkerchief, a small pile of coins, a comb, and a billfold thin and soft with age. He lays them out in the same order, in the same place, the way he has every night for 50 years. In the morning, he will pick each one back up and put it back where it belongs, and then he is dressed. Not because of the shirt or the boots, because of what is in his pockets. The boy does not know it yet, but he is watching a kind of man that is about to disappear, because what a man carried in his pockets was not clutter. It was a portrait of who he was, what he did, and what he was ready for. These are 15 of the things American men carried for 100 years. Most men do not carry a single one of them today. Number 9 was worth more to him than everything else combined, and he never spent it. Number 3 could stop a train, and once, when it failed, men died. And number 1 is the thing a man felt naked without. Subscribe before we start. Number 15. The pocket comb. Every man carried a comb. Metal or hard rubber, worn smooth at the teeth. A man kept his hair, and he kept it neat, and he did it himself, anywhere, in a second. Before a church service, before he met a girl's father, before a photograph. It cost almost nothing, and it said something. A man took care of how he looked, because how he looked was a form of respect. Number 14. The match safe. Fire, on demand, was not something a man took for granted. He carried strike-anywhere matches in a small metal case that snapped shut and kept them dry. They called it a match safe, or a Vesta case. A wet match was a useless match, so the case was waterproof and lived in the vest pocket. With it, a man could light a stove, a lantern, a pipe, or a fire to keep from freezing. Without it, he was at the mercy of the weather. Number 13. The coin purse. Before a card paid for everything, a man paid in coins, and coins were heavy and real. He carried a small leather purse with a snap, or a clasp, that pinched shut. Silver dollars, half dollars, quarters, the big old pennies. You could feel your money. You knew exactly what you had, because you could count it in the dark. When the purse got light, you felt it before you saw it. Number 12. The pencil. A man wrote things down. A measurement, a price, a name, a number to remember. He carried a stub of a pencil, and often it was a carpenter's pencil, flat instead of round. Flat so it would not roll off a beam or a workbench. The lead was rectangular and strong, and you sharpened it with the knife in your other pocket. A man who could not make a note was a man who forgot things. Number 11. The little notebook. Beside the pencil wrote a small notebook, no bigger than a playing card. They called it a memorandum book. In it went accounts owed, seeds planted, hours worked, the weight of a hog, the date a cow was bred. It was a man's memory, in his own hand, in his own pocket. Some of those little books are the only record we have that certain people ever lived at all. Number 10. The ring of keys. A man's keys told you what he was responsible for. The house, the barn, the shop, the strongbox, the church, if he was trusted to open it. Many were skeleton keys, long and simple, worn bright from use. He did not have a key for everything, the way we do now. The weight of them was the weight of what people trusted him to look after. Number 9. The pocket piece. Almost every man carried one thing that had no use at all. A worn coin he would never spend. A silver dollar from the year he was born, a buckeye, smooth as glass from years of his thumb, a saint's medal for the men who traveled. This was the pocket piece, and it was the most personal thing he owned. He touched it when he was worried. He rubbed it when he was waiting. It was worth more to him than everything else in his pockets combined. When a man died, it was the pocket piece the family kept. Number 8. The spectacles. As a man's eyes aged, folding reading glasses went into his breast pocket in a slim metal case. He pulled them out to read the paper, to check a figure, to read a letter from a son far away. He was a little vain about needing them, and he put them away quickly, but he carried them everywhere because the words did not wait for good light. Number 7. The tobacco. For many men, a plug of chewing tobacco rode in the pocket, dark and heavy and wrapped in foil. He cut a piece off with his knife, the same knife he used for everything else. Others carried a pouch of loose tobacco and a pipe. It was a habit, and we know now it was a deadly one. But it was also a ritual, a way to pause, to think, to share a moment with another man without a word. Number 6. The billfold and the hidden bill. A man's wallet was thin, soft, and often the last gift his wife or his mother ever gave him. But the real secret was the folded bill hidden behind everything else. A folded bill tucked away and never touched. It was the get-home money, the money you did not spend because spending it meant something had gone wrong. A cautious man always had a way to get home, folded small and forgotten in the back of his billfold. Number 5. The clean handkerchief. This is the sleeper on the list. A folded cotton handkerchief was the single most useful thing a man carried. It wiped his brow in the field and his hands after work. It was a bandage for a cut, a sling for an arm, a filter over the mouth in a dust storm. It cleaned a child's face and dried a woman's tears, and a man handed it over without a word. A gentleman carried 2, one for himself and one to give away. Number 4. The watch, chain, and fob. The watch did not ride loose. It hung on a chain, anchored across the vest. So, it could never be dropped, or lost, or stolen off him. At the other end hung a fob, sometimes an ornament, sometimes a tiny knife, sometimes a lodge token. The chain was practical. It was also the one piece of quiet display a plain man allowed himself. Number 3. The pocket watch. This was the king of a man's pockets. A good watch cost weeks of wages. A man saved for it, and once he owned it for life. Then he handed it to his son. But a watch was not only sentiment, it was safety. In 1891, 2 trains collided at Kipton, Ohio, and men died. The cause was traced to a single watch that had stopped for 4 minutes, carried by a man who did not know it had failed. After that, the railroad set brutal standards for the watches their men carried, accurate to within seconds, inspected on a schedule. A railroad man's watch was a life and death instrument, and he treated it like one. Number 2. The harmonica. More men than you would think carried a small harmonica, a mouth organ, in a coat pocket. It weighed nothing. It asked for no lessons. A soldier carried one through the Civil War and both World Wars. A cowboy carried one to the night herd. When the work was done and the fire was lit, a man pulled it out and played, badly or well. It was the one thing in his pocket that existed for no reason but joy. Number 1. The pocket knife. If a man carried only one thing, it was this: a folding knife, worn smooth, sharpened 1,000 times. He got his first one as a boy, often from his own grandfather, and it was the day he started becoming a man. He used it for everything: cutting rope and twine and food, whittling a toy for a child, cleaning a fish, mending a harness, opening a letter, taking a splinter from a boy's hand. A man without a knife was helpless, and he knew it, and he felt it. To be without your knife was to be, in some small but real way, not fully dressed. Ask a man in his 80s about his first pocket knife. Watch his face change. That grandfather in 1962 laid these things on the dresser every night of his life. When he died, his family opened that dresser drawer, and there it all was: the knife, the watch, the worn coin he never spent, and in those few small objects was the whole man. What we carry now fits in one glass rectangle, and it is a marvel, and it does 1,000 things. But it is the same for everyone. It says nothing about who we are. A man's pockets used to be a kind of autobiography, written in steel and silver and worn leather. Most of it is gone now, but you can still start. Carry a knife, carry a handkerchief, carry one thing that means something. If you want more of what America used to know, subscribe. We are digging it back out, one skill at a time.